Welcome to Something Like That. My name is Nav. How you doing? How you feeling? Yes, it's time for us to bring you the final episode of 2021. For 2021, don't have any wrong ideas saying that you're ending the show, no more podcast. Well, there's going to be in 2022, but this is going to be the final episode for 2021 with the guests. I don't know, I might come up with a wrap-up episode. That's if I'm not too lazy. But anyway, just before I proceed by bringing in my guest, please remember to subscribe. Hit on the like button, subscribe button, the bell thingy, whatever you have to do it, and please share it with as many people as possible. If you're listening to the audio or podcast, good. Subscribe to the channel if there's such a thing called subscribe, and also share it with many people as possible. In the meantime, my guest for today, I met him a couple of weeks back on my other program called AEW Sessions, and I couldn't really have a long conversation with him because he was having his live performances, and that's where I was interrupting him in between, trying to get to know him more, a little bit here and there. But the good news is he comes from my hometown, which is Ipoh, Mali, one of the best towns on the planet. And he's going to join us tonight on the show. We're going to chat more about his music, who is he, what does he do, and a couple of other things in between. So let's bring him on board. Ivanez. Hey, my man.
Hello, Nav. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing awesome. I'm pretty excited today, actually. It's one of those rainy days. I needed to charge up a little bit. And finally, I get to do what I do best. Talk.
Yeah, have some stimulating conversations.
Exactly. That's what you need, man. That's what everybody needs right now. More conversations. It's like, one of those rainy days, everybody's like, lazy, sitting down, watching TV. They have no mood to do anything. So I got to thank you for deciding to come on the show this particular day. Coincidentally, it's a rainy day and you're coming on board. So I hope it's going to be a charged up one.
Thanks for having me. It's interesting.
Yeah, but first, let me compliment you on your microphone, man.
Thank you so much.
I kind of like it. It's socked up.
Yeah, it's socked up. I don't have a pop filter, so I improvised. I used a colorful sock.
I kind of like it, man. But make sure, I hope it's washed.
It's clean.
And you have the perfect pair of headphones. Is that yours, or does it belong to your other half?
Yeah, it belongs to my girlfriend. I don't really have headphones. I have studio monitors. I haven't got headphones yet. So this is the best thing for now.
I kind of like cute, man. I kind of like the look down there.
Yeah, it's weird. I've got a sock microphone and kitty cat headphones.
Okay, so you're the guest that I'm not going to forget for this year, man.
Yeah.
With reference, hey, you didn't listen to the show? Yes, I did. Is that this guy with the bunny ears and all? Sarah J.
Yeah. So it actually lights up if it's on Bluetooth. So it's really it's trippy, but it's not on Bluetooth right now.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it's not lighting up.
Oh, okay, good. Hey, it'll be cool if it lights up.
Yeah, I can't make it light up because it only does that. I don't know how to work it, man. I don't know how to do it.
You're pretty unique, man. You're not more of the tech guy. You're more of the, I don't know how do I put this? I'm just lost for words right now. Let's keep about that part. Let's get to know you, man. Last we had a conversation was on AEW Sessions. We had a couple of bands, but then again, it was quite brief, and I felt unsatisfied. Because knowing that, hey, you're from Ipoh, and I wanted to get to know you a little more from there. And let's start off with your name. Of course, we mentioned that Ivanez wasn't your real name, but do you really reveal your real name at any point of time?
Of course, everyone knows me by my real name.
Which is?
Or at least most people know what my real name is, lah.
Okay, are you allowed to share that in situations like this, or you just like to keep it secret?
Maybe in situations like this, let them all guess.
Okay, good. But, so maybe off air, I'll try to find out.
Yeah, but do you remember Shanil from the Open Mic?
Yes.
Open Mic Malaysia guy. So the story is like this. He really thought my name was Jay.
Oh.
Like for the longest time, and then he invited me on for I guess what is it called again? It's a slot where you play for 30 minutes instead of 15.
Open mics.
Yeah, the featured slot lah,
Okay.
And it comes with a small token, that kind of thing. And so he found out what my real name was, and he wouldn't let it go, man. He wouldn't let it go. And he said, why would you change your name? It's so nice.
Oh man!
Yeah, it's one of those things, like
No, I'm just finding out that I just found out that Jay wasn't your real name.
No,
I thought Ivanez was just a moniker over there, but Jay also.
Yeah, the entirety.
Oh man. Okay, this is going to be a huge mystery. Like maybe someday people can just guess your name and win an album or something like that in the near future, man. Yeah, but you're from
yeah.
Ipoh, right?
Yeah, I am, man.
Yeah. How? I mean, you're still there, or you just like fully migrated to KL?
No, I work here, but I mean, I'm not sure what that means, lah. But I'm based in KL, but I do go back. I'm actually going back in a few days to spend
Nice.
the Christmas holidays because I'm off work for essentially 2 weeks.
Nice.
So tomorrow is like my last day of work, so I'm going home back to Ipoh. Back
Which
to our
part of
stomping
Ipoh are you
grounds.
from?
Ipoh Garden,
Oh,
near Kinta
this-
City, very near.
Oh, okay. So you get all the food area down there.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually,
So-
in the city area, there's not much food, right?
There is quite. I mean, I'm not sure.
I mean, it's not there are the popular ones. Like, they are food, but not the popular ones, right?
We got quite a few lah, but of course the best ones are still in the town areas, or like the more. I don't know what to call it because everything in Ipoh to me is just nearby.
Oh, yeah.
You know-
Actually, everything
you know
is
when
about 15
yeah.
minutes drive. Like.
No, I think 15 minutes is considered to be far. Where we're from. when I came to KL for the first time to study when I was 17 years old.
Okay.
I was based in Subang, so people said it's nearby. It's nearby. I'm like, 30 minutes is not near, my friend. And then I realized that in the city, it is considered to be an okay distance if you drive for 30 minutes. So
I know,
that was culture shock for me.
I had the same feeling when I first came in here. And another thing that for Ipoh boy, when you come to KL, what's another shocker? It's like you got to buy mangoes.
Buy mango.
Like Ipoh, because Ipoh pretty much almost, when I was growing up there, almost every house had a mango tree.
Oh, I get what you mean.
Yeah, I don't know about these days.
I don't have the struggle because I feel like growing up in Ipoh, you get so much fruits, right? You just had your fill. When you come here, you don't really. I didn't really look for fruits, lah. I won't lie to you.
Okay. I was pissed off because I came here and I'd pay for mangoes. It's like, shit, how did this happen, man? And the price wasn't exactly what I was expecting.
Yeah. The second thing is the prices of food in general is about double or triple sometimes.
I could
And it's
imagine, man.
ridiculous.
And Ipoh, you still have some good food, good places, and I'm still waiting to go make my trip down there, my food trip. This whole pandemic thingy kind of ruined it for the past 2 years. I just can't wait to go back. I discovered some new spots I didn't know that existed in Ipoh when I was living there.
Like what? Why don't you share?
I don't know. There's some few nasi kandar joints and whatever. I mean, it was there for when I was growing up, but I didn't know about it. So, just ayam roast and all this kind of thingy.
When was your last trip home?
Oh man, that was about 3-4 years ago.
Okay, so
3 years to be more precise.
yeah, okay. So here's what you're going to need to expect. Yeah, when you go back this time around, a lot of things are going to change.
Like?
There have been Ipoh is looking more hip now. Every time I go back, right, I get culture shock.
Really? Yeah.
They've got new things popping up here and there, hipster things popping up here and there, left and right. Like they're trying to modernize it a bit more. Not that it
Ah,
yeah,
come
so,
on, man.
So you got Sinful Tang bubble tea, you got like this Ninja Z accessory shop, you have Texas chicken there. Like
man.
a Texas chicken drive-through where a petrol station used to be. So it's weird.
No, I got to check that out, man. I just got to take a drive because for me, it's always been that 4 spots whenever I go. It's the dim sum breakfast or the Old Town coffee, that area. That's a compulsory thing. Then the Yong Tau Foos and the Nasi Ganja. And night, of course, the Merdeka Garden Curry Mee, which sucks right now. I have to admit it.
Merdeka Garden is very old news, man.
Yeah, it's like the last time I tried it out there, I was very disappointed of the taste of the food. So
Yeah, but the rest still exists, though. I won't lie. You can still get the good nasi ganja in town. You can still
that's
get
the thing.
your dim sum is it just got better in my opinion.
Really, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
they've upped their game. Like for you to get a good one now, you need to be very disciplined. You need to wake up at 6. You need to be at the shop by 6:30. Then you can have a good time. Otherwise, it's just
Yeah, it's always packed. That place has always been packed, man. Even when I was growing up there. But anyway, that's for those they're from different parts of the world. If you're wondering what we're talking about, Ipoh is a town from one of the states in Malaysia, which is Perak. Perak is a nice state, and it has the capital of Perak is Ipoh. You can Google it, whoever's listening for it. If you're not from Malaysia, other parts of the world, please Google it and find out more about it. So just in case you want to visit Malaysia in the future, go straight. Get on KLIA, straight go to Ipoh. Don't waste your time in KL. But anyway, let's talk about Jay. In terms of music, you have been in the business for, let's see, a good 5, 10, 20 years? I don't know, 5, 10 years?
No, man.
Not that long? Really?
No,
How new is you?
I'm new. I think safe to say 2018. That was like the fresh start. 2018. That was when I released one single. That was the year that I religiously open mic'd.
Okay.
And by 2019, I believe I would have been gigging a little bit here and there. That was when I think I started like working here in KL as well.
Okay, that's
I think
new.
2 years is a more, I guess, a more fair amount to describe my tenure in this business.
No, but listening to your tracks, I mean, you have about 2 to 3 tracks of it. It
Yeah.
doesn't sound like someone who's relatively new. It's kind of, I watch your live performances, of course, and for someone who's been like 2 to 3 years, it's like, dude, are you sure? I mean, prior to that, what were you doing?
Yeah, that's the
When it
thing.
comes
So
to-
I spent a lot of time practicing. I spent a lot of time dreaming about doing this. So I haven't really been performing a lot. Like there are some bands out there who it's every weekend, or I think even in the weekdays. They're busy, and I haven't gotten to that point yet. I'd love to, but no. A lot of the time I'm just either in my room, like teenage years. I spent a lot of time in my room writing every night, practicing, doing my best, trying to get places to play, finding places to play. I've even done free gig auditions at pubs in Ipoh. Of course, I didn't get the job because
I'm surprised they had
who would
gigs.
who would wanna pay you for your original music, right? It's
Yeah,
very
that's
tough.
the sad thing. And
Yeah, so I have done weird things like that, and it's so out of place, lah. It's seriously out of place. But I did it anyway. So it was only then I was like, okay, lah. Go to a studio. Let's see how we can play this. I was, in fact, very, very uninformed about how things work.
But they should be. I mean, I'm pretty sure there was a starting point of you deciding to come on board and do this, right?
Yeah, it was.
I
the
mean,
open
there
mics
must be.
in 2018.
That's in KL, right?
Yeah, but in
Yeah, but
Ipoh, not-
prior to
not-
that, I'm pretty sure that there must be a starting point, or maybe I don't know. You played in school, you played for I don't know some choir or something. There should be a starting point, right?
Oh, yeah, the starting point. Okay, if you want to go that far, yes.
Yes,
there
I
is.
would like to. That's the best part. That's the dirty little secrets.
Yeah, so I guess that was when the moniker J became, it took form lah. It was 14 years old, going jamming at my friend's place, and I think the first thing that I fell in love with was recording, home
Okay.
recording. It was Audacity and a Shure SM57 mic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, nothing more than those two things. I forgot how he hooked it up to the laptop, but that was kind of what started that drive to go do this. It was that SM57 and Audacity on the laptop, and a tiny little 10-watt Marshall amp. You've seen those. It's very portable. It's not even good for busking. It's only meant for practicing. Yeah, so it was then that I was like, oh damn, this is so cool. I guess that's why I gravitate towards making songs, recording
Okay.
songs. Although my methods have been described as severely traditional and overly, I don't know what you can say. Some people describe me as an old man when I tell them I don't want to digitize everything.
Well,
Yeah, so-
you have a good taste in that case.
Yeah, so after that, it was every day. It was just writing. Of course, I would have loved to play in, I guess the music club or the drama club, but I did no such thing actually. I did no music in school. I never actually brought my guitar to school. I think in those years, you could describe my music skills as absolutely terrible.
Really? So
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
You self-taught, or did you go like music classes for
No,
that?
no. I went for music classes for quite a long time, from the age of 12 all the way up to I I finished at 16, and then I still continued on and off after that. And then when I came to KL to study, I still continued unofficially. Like I don't go to an academy. I learned under someone. I felt like I could never have enough of a teaching guidance.
Okay.
Because I was very used to it. But in terms of, going out there and performing, my first gig was when I was 14 years old. Neighborhood gig. I somehow scored a gig and I played for Bersih. I played for Bersih 2.0.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was
wait,
my...
You say 14 and Bersih 2.0. Dude, you're very young, man.
Yeah, so that was the first time that I actually performed for an audience, not just an audience. I performed for 700 people.
Oh, wow, wow.
It was absolute insanity. Like, it was the most out of place thing that you could ever imagine. Like, I guess every rock star history begins with some ridiculous thing like that. But I've done something like that, and we played like 3 songs. I don't really even know how we got the gig. It's just like word of mouth. Oh, this kid's son wants to perform for the intermission. Okay, shove him on stage. Let's see what he can do. It doesn't matter anyway because no one's gonna care. Like, we just want some noise.
Yeah, all you need is Bersih at the end of it.
No, I did none of that. So I was like, okay, they're gonna be. I briefed the band. There's gonna be people, and we can play. Let's do it. They were all okay, so we rehearsed, and not knowing that many people are gonna show up because it's like a political thing, right? And I don't know anything about it.
Well, it's a good promotional ground, a good introduction platform.
Of course, that was like the first one, and I didn't really follow up after that because band broke up or it's always some commitment issue.
Oh.
And then of course, like school graduation, I had a friend who was going to graduate from high school, and he was like, "Let's put a band together. Let's do a school performance." So I did that about 2 years later.
Okay.
And that's it, nothing very. I'm not one of those kids that every weekend I go find some little cafe and try my luck. I've seen some kids do that, and I really respect them for it. I wish I did that, but
I think the drive happened for you when you moved into KL, right?
No, the drive was always there, especially in Ipoh. But I spent a lot of time writing, like learning how to write every single night. I think for 2 years straight. I wrote a lot of songs. I actually have it here. If you want to see like the stack.
Oh man!
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Let me simplify this. I just have to ask you this. You've wrote for almost every night for the past 2 years or so, and you've only released 3 tracks so far. Why is that?
Yeah. No. I mean that was the practice, right? Not for the past 2 years. For the past 2 years, I've been doing a lot of other things that are not necessarily songwriting related. But when I was younger, you're talking about the origin story, right? The origin story was pen and paper. There was a lot of doing that, not so much performance. I was still kind of like chipping wood, learning how to do things. Musically speaking, I was not there at all. I had to battle a lot of there's always this talk of within the guitarist market, or this kid like he sucks. So there's a lot of that to battle with. So eventually, I was like, okay, I'll aim for the long run, because I can't do the things that the kids did then. They could essentially shred and all these things. I couldn't do any of that. So I was like, I had to play my own game, and I really want to write songs. So I taught myself how to write songs every day for at least 2 years. So the routine is like this, 9 o'clock, wait for the parents to go to sleep, go downstairs, steal a beer from the fridge, go back upstairs, chuck the beer, get your pen, get your paper, write something.
Nice. But your family were encouraging when it comes to music, right? Were they? I was like, dude, get a real job.
It's kind of in between. I don't want to say like one thing or the other. I would say that obviously it was not, especially in the beginning, it was not something that they encouraged because of the whole get a real job kind of thing.
Okay.
But I guess after a long time, they realized nothing's going to sway me, because I already invested so much time and so much effort. It's not an easy thing teaching yourself how to write songs, man.
I admire that. I'm the kind of person who's I spent my entire career talking to musicians, and I've always admired every single thing. The only, like I've told this a million times before, The only thing I can play is a CD player and a DVD player. So I've always admired people who actually took the initiative to pick up the guitar and learn how to play that, attend classes, or any of those sort of things. And I also admire people who can sing, because I can't sing to save my life. So I'm always jealous, like another way.
I guess for most of us, we start there, and it's the realization that we don't want to suck forever. That's the biggest motivation. I guess I don't speak for all the musicians, but that definitely is my case. I was never a trained singer or a trained writer, but it eventually, the practice pays off. Like you said, I think it reflects in the singles that I have released. There's a lot that I definitely consider when I record something or when I write something. There's an entire process.
Ah, nice. And well, speaking of your music itself, after spending hours or days of coming up with tracks and all, deciding your sound. Now, of course, there must be a reason when you want to decide that this is the kind of tone I want to go to, this is the kind of genre, or this is how I'm going to write. You must have had some good influences throughout the years, because I love your track, I love your singles. So I'm guessing that you had some good influence in terms of who inspired you to write this kind of stuff. And may I know who were they?
Yeah, that definitely. The influences always play a big role in how we produce things. So for me, there's, I guess I spoke of this before, and those who know me know, like, Jimi Hendrix is like the number one guy as far as composition goes, as far as technicality goes, and as far as the whole, you want to go, like, you want to rock, but at the same time you want to have that soul, because sometimes in that genre, that can be sacrificed a bit. The soul can be sacrificed a bit. So I always keep him in mind, especially, I think, after turning 19.
Okay.
I really started to appreciate more and more. Like, every guitarist have heard of Jimi Hendrix. When you go to a school, or when you open up a rock syllabus, or even if you walk into a music studio, his picture is going to be seen somehow. His music is going to be heard somehow. So I guess it was when I turned 19 that I really started to appreciate what he was doing with the guitar, and I really got obsessed. I really wanted to know what the secret was. So every day was a reason to try and understand what he was doing with the guitar, because it's very unique. He played guitar like piano.
Okay.
Essentially, for those who are not super well versed with musical terms, the shortest way to say is that he played guitar like a piano while maintaining a rock sort of attitude. The attitude of a rocker, but the soul of a blues musician, and the mind of a futurist, because what he was doing, I believe in his time, he was a bit ahead of his time. Not really that a little bit. I think he was quite ahead of his time.
Yeah, you were very much.
I'd argue until today, not many or no one at all actually pulled off what he did. It was very unique that way. So I spent the better part of 2 or 3 years every day just being obsessive about his work.
Yeah, true. Because during that era, a lot of bands were influenced with the blues. Even if you take Led Zeppelin itself, Robert Plant, way back then, he was a blues singer. If you take, of course, who's that guy again? Oh, man. This is the part that I always mess up, trying to recall the names. In fact, Jimmy Page also, he had a lot of blues influences going there. Days from the Byrds and many other bands. Blues were the foundation of many of the rock tracks that you hear from the 60s, 70s, and till the present thing. So they had the roots in that, which means it was more melodic. We had more right arrangements instead of just the 4 chords or 3 chords, or whichever you want to call it in technical terms. That's how I like to look at it, from the influences of those musicians way back in the day.
Historically speaking, in contemporary music, so I guess music that existed from now until maybe the early 1900s, everything was somehow rooted back to the blues. Because of its simplicity, and I don't know, it's just one of those things that it's small enough but powerful enough that it starts influencing and evolving over time. So
you'd be surprised.
Yeah, even in music college, we had to learn like the significance of blues music and all that. So I think the 60s was that era that definitely, people were really creating. It was the most creative era.
And then it
was the
evolved.
hippie era. Yeah, it evolved, and so Hendrix is definitely one of my influences.
You want to see one of the best evolving artists or a singer? You know Ronnie James Dio, right?
Who's that?
Dio. Ronnie James
Oh, Dio. Yeah, Dio.
Yes. Try to look for his stuff from the 50s and 60s, or 60s to be more precise. You'll be surprised. I'll try to share that there if I could. You see the stuff that he sang back there, and you listen to the stuff that his last tracks, you'll be surprised to know that how did this turn into that,
Evolution, man.
But this evolution was totally out of this world, man.
And sometimes spiritual revelation.
Yeah, you never know, man. But this one, it'll catch you by surprise. I'll try to send you the link whenever I can. I'll try to do that. But anyway, in terms of lyrics in your songwriting, there's always something, there's a story behind everything that anybody writes. It's not just for the sake of writing. It's not just I'm going to pen things down just for the mood. Just look at whatever's happening. There must be a particular reason in that. And you had, to simplify things, 3 tracks that you've released on Spotify. Which you're talking about 30 Days, which is a demo track. And then in 2018, you had Helios. And of course, the most recent one in 2020 was Heal. All these songs, if you pay close attention to it, it sounds very deep. And that, to a certain extent, I could say is a little dark also, if you really pay close attention to the lyrics. So I just need to find out what was it all about.
Well, I guess I'm glad you paid attention, because sometimes lyrics are taken a little bit too much for granted.
Yes.
Yeah, so, well, it's true. It definitely comes from somewhere. It's a bit dark. I think when I was writing the lyrics for any of the songs, I feel like I've come to a point where if you're going to write something, even if you don't really know what it means, because there are lyrics to some songs that until today I really don't know what it means.
Yes.
But I'm the one who wrote it, right? So I guess it has to come from some place, and ironically, I guess it still ties into the topic of influences. That I learned from a very famous pop star by the name of Taylor Swift.
Oh,
yeah.
I was thinking you're going to talk about Eddie Vedder or something like that.
No, I know it because I have people have drawn that comparison before. Like there's some 90s grunge or post grunge.
Yeah.
Someone said that it reminds them of Audioslave. Others says it reminds them of this other band called Blind Melon or something. So it's got that 90s influence to it. But the truth is, like I said, when I was learning on my own, I went through her entire discography.
Okay.
Like entirely up to that point, because she didn't release that many albums. And one of the things that captivated me about her art, although it's a polarizing topic, right? She's a very polarizing topic. But I will defend, and I will say this: politics aside, that girl knows how to write lyrics. She knows how to write a story, and it draws a lot from country music writing. It's always a diary.
Yeah.
So when I came across that, I was like, we can use this, and what she's doing is she's talking about breakups lah. Well, I don't know anything much about breakups, but I do know about heartbreak. I do know about not feeling right. I do know the struggle of being a musician and not being widely accepted. I do know what it is to be a teenager with suicide ideation.
Okay.
And I do know to a certain extent of the evils of the world. And there's so many things that I could speak about. I just had to learn how to write it. So in writing, most of the time, a lot of it isn't happy things.
Okay.
So maybe we go one by one. When I wrote Helios, that was the earliest of my release.
Okay.
That was perhaps one of the most struggling periods of my life. So I just wanted to write a poem that depicted how everything was gloomy clouds and I might not see the end, that kind of thing. So I wrote it in that style, and so it's kind of poetic and it's kind of directionless, and I liked it that way lah. So contrasting to my personality when people see me, I guess the songs are a bit more withdrawn. They're not so upbeat that way, and that's how it is lah. Helios is a song about not feeling alright and I guess, in the end, saying that, you know what, screw it, fuck it. If you want to do this, just do it. If you want to do that, just do that. And at the end of the day, you're really gonna die. So just do whatever you
Just
want.
do it,
and yeah, when you grow old, grow a farm and just die in the farm. You know, that's just what I was like. I built the music first, right? This is one of those things. The music came first. I just didn't know how to weave the lyrics in. So I wrote so many drafts of it, and in the end, the story is like very simple. I went to Australia with my mom because I thought I was going to study there, and I was really tired from the whole airplane trip. When I landed, there was this minibus waiting for us. I was already on my way to be falling asleep. Little ray of sun hit my hand, and that's what started the new draft. I was like, sunlight creeping in as I fall asleep. Sunlight creeping in as I fall asleep, and everything else was history. So I was like, how do I end the song? Yeah, do whatever you want, do all the drugs you want to do, fornicate as long as you want, grow a farm and be happy when you're done. Okay, done. Yeah, so that's how I did it. I was like, okay, that's settled.
Well, that's Helios, but after that you come up with a track called Heal. Is that a follow-up to the Helios? Or is it a completely different thing altogether?
No, these songs were more or less written within the same time period. Except for, more or less like I wanted them to sound musically, I wanted them to fit musically. So Heal is kind of like Helios's brother, so to speak.
Okay.
Because at that time when I released Helios, I thought that, that was it. I cannot write anymore anything that could, that could compare to this kind of a composition. Because I really like the way it sounds, and I like the feel, I like the lyrics. So I thought like I exhausted all my creative energy into one song, and that's it. But Heal came along soon after, about 1 or 2 years later. And I would say that it's a very close match. So it's like one was the angry younger brother and one was the angry older brother.
Okay.
So that one, yeah. Go
Sorry,
on.
but I'm a bit puzzled with this. Don't get me wrong on this one. Yeah, I've seen someone of your age. Pretty much a lot of musicians have written as such, expressing how the emotional status they are in at this particular age when you have a whole long life to experience. It's way more than that. In fact, as a matter of fact, but. Writing these songs, sort of songs, and expressing it towards these kind of music or this kind of lyrics, does it really help in your emotional state, or is it like oh no, I'm just going to keep on writing this. This is how I continue to feel. This is how I'm going to go on with it because that's how it makes me feel. Is that it, or is it like you keep changing?
Well, to be very honest with you, my case is more like I want to write what I feel. And in that phase of life, you're always gonna write about those things. That I believe out there are a select few bands or a select few artists out there who will, their entire career is based on depressing stuff. Like one I know is City and Color. I think that guy is like, he's always writing about emo stuff. And then the other one that I know is what is it? It's Bayside. It's this New York rock band, right? I really like Bayside. I think their whole discography is like emo stuff,
I think because maybe they write it in such a way because it connects with the people.
Perhaps. But for me, that period has come to an end already.
Okay.
Not because of writing, I'm definitely not going to write like, oh, I'm going to write this forever because I'm going to feel sad forever. I don't believe in that. I don't believe anything lasts forever. It's just that the stuff that I release is all backlog stuff. So
okay.
I'm
so
I'm
from that phase of your life,
yeah. So does it help to I guess vent or release like that? I don't think so. I think the writing part for me doesn't help at all. It's just every day is just a reminder of like, oh, that happened. Or this happened, and that's not a good thing. It doesn't help, but the performing part does. Yeah. So when I bring it out to people, when I go up on whatever stage, big, small, medium, or an open mic, like in 2018, I did the open mic very religiously twice a week. Now that really helped. The writing alone is just, I think equally as depressing as the feeling itself. So it's like if the only person you sing it to is yourself, like, okay, that's really terrible.
I could imagine, man.
And
I could imagine
yeah.
that.
And I think it's if you say, like, that there are other musicians in my age group who feel the same way. I think we do. I think we have a lot of there's a lot to feel terrible about, lah. Nav, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Really, yeah.
There's this whole, there's parental pressure, there's societal pressure, and then there is the musicianship pressure, because a lot of us, we want the same thing. We want the recognition. Some of us dream of making it like as big as can be, or whatever it is. So that, like, we're at a very weird time where
I always get into these sort of conversations. I tend to argue with a lot of people at this part, because the most common thoughts, or people start stereotyping, is like, oh, you're young, you still got a long way to go, so you don't know anything about problems. There's more to come and all. But I kind of like to look at it as the challenges that you have compared to people like someone of my age, and when I was somewhere in your age. It was totally different. The challenges there, the obstacles we face, it's completely different. So you can't really say that, oh, there's more to come, you're still young and all, because it is different. It's very different. It's two different sets of problems that the generation has faced, man.
yeah,
That's how I
mean,
like to look at it.
there is a point, to say that you've got a long way to go, and that is a reality. There is a long road ahead. And that has always been the reality. But, when you're here in the now, and you're thinking about the past, present, and the future, that's a lot of pressure,
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I mean, everything is accelerated now.
Yes.
Everything
Very true.
is going so fast.
And
There's
competitive too.
Yeah, it is this internet thing going on, and that everyone now every Tom, Dick, and Harry has a degree. The degree
Yes.
today is already so, I don't know.
It's
Everyone has it.
It's like, I don't know. I kind of look at it like degrees are now like certificate levels. You need to
Yeah.
have a master's and PhD in order
Yeah.
to be equivalent to a degree.
And that's only because of the way things have shifted. It's come to a point where, everyone wants to have something. Everyone needs to have something. It's a commonplace thing already, right? Like, like you said, degrees are now like certificate level things. So the competition is higher. There are a lot more creatives as compared to maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Things are really harder. Of course, someone who is older can look down and say, "Oh, you're just being a wuss. You're just complaining. You're making excuses." But sometimes that's not the case. I mean, definitely, I'm telling you, I've met people my age who I don't understand how they got to where they are. They're not doing anything, There are cases like that. I'm not going to generalize. I don't speak for everyone. I speak for myself. But the struggle that I've always had has been revolving around music. I've been crazy about it for a decade now. I've been trying to write and push myself out there as often as I can. So the struggle has always been a very cyclical. It starts with an ambition. It goes into a struggle. You can't get it because you don't know how to get it. Then you write some silly song and you try to put it out, and it goes again and again and again. So that has been the revolving door for a long time. So that's the reason why a lot of the material that I write has that I guess you can say that whole Audio Slave, Chris Cornell type of.
That explains it.
Yeah, because I think as a person, he would have gone through the same thing, and maybe he never left it. God rest his soul. Maybe he never left it, because the truth about staying in a cycle like that is sometimes you really forget where you are. You're always lost in your own world. Let's just put it that you're lost in your own struggles, that sometimes you forget that you made such a big leap from where you began. Like, if I look back 10 years ago, I was 15 years old. I barely had one usable song. I could barely memorize my scales on the guitar. I had a voice that sounded worse than Alvin and the Chipmunks. I really looked like someone who just came out of a cartoon. So where I am today compared to 10 years ago, it has been a big leap. And there are days I just fail to remind myself that. So it always keeps you in this weird cycle. So lyrics also come out one kind.
I guess, yeah, I see. I see.
Yeah.
But okay, that was the cycle. But right now, I think you have learned the whatever experiences that you had has just helped you a little more to set the path for your next step, or rather your upcoming music, or maybe your sense of directions, and also where are you right now with that? Because in the past, of course, you've been playing from 2018 rigorously, and of course 2019. I'm guessing also it was a pretty strong year for you. 2020, everybody had to slam the brakes,
Yeah.
and that's miserable indeed. So, but that gave the opportunity for a lot of people to reinvent themselves, and also to learn more, and to come up with more options, and to kick it off again. Like say now, it's the end of 2021. I think things are looking up a little bit right now with some gigs and shows and other things that's happening. So how are you with that situation right now?
Well, the truth is, ever since the pandemic began, ever since the lockdown began, like you said, everyone slammed the brakes. So, I also had to change jobs. I became a guitar instructor. Just to make the bread, just to pay the bills, just keep the dream going, right? Keep the grind and all that, as people in our industry like to say.
Hustling.
Yeah, it's a bit eye opening, and you start to see things differently. So musically, I would say I'm not saying I'm not going to write the way I do. It's just I will continue doing what I do. Whatever I feel, I will write. Dark or light, it doesn't really matter. But what I would like to try to accomplish in the future projects is definitely more creative stuff. I want to how should I put? I want to create things that maybe don't sound so common. I want to be a bit more witty with my words rather than just just venting. I
love lyricists like that.
I think the challenge that I put forth for myself, in the upcoming few singles, is that I want to do more social commentary. I don't want it to be so introspective all the time, because everything I've written so far has always been what existed in my mind and how I felt. So maybe moving forward, I'd like to comment on what I feel we are like. Because for me, I hold a personal opinion that human beings are both funny and tragic.
True.
We live in a time where we are all ironic. Like a person can go to McDonald's, eat all that junk food, and look to their neighbor and say smoking kills.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah,
I know that feeling.
So yeah, we live in a time where this is so revealed because of social media. Like irony is everywhere, and everyone is stubborn, regardless of whether they want to admit it or not. And that's a whole lot to go with. I think in the 70s, Pink Floyd did a hell of a job commenting about money, commenting about mortality, commenting about mental sickness. So I feel like that is a very good place to start digging back up, the material, vetting through it, getting inspired by it, and giving it a new twist, because we got social media now, we got TikTok, we got YouTube, and we got this influencer culture. I have a lot to say about these things, and perhaps it is time to chisel away in the studio sometime soon, hopefully.
I'll look forward for that, man. I'll definitely look forward for that. There's something that you need to have a little fresh vibe on the music lyrically. Oh my gosh, my words are all stumbling. Do excuse me, what was I've been pretty stuck right now. In terms of lyrics, I just love lyrics that matters a lot. I'm the kind of guy who pays a lot of attention to the lyrics, because the words paint 1,000 pictures. So that's what it's not just about the music. I can just have one snare that's going on for the entire song, but if the lyrics are right, you'll enjoy it most, man. That's why I was more into that 90s vibe. I mean, jams like Pearl jams, like what you say, Audio Slave, even the 70s, 60s, 80s were also there. We had some lyrics. 80s pop culture kind of ruined it, but you still had some good bands with some good lyrics who were there. It's like, when you listen to something metaphorically, like for example, like Sting, Police and all, everything had different meanings to it. It's just how you choose to interpret the song. Those kind of things I kind of like a lot when it comes to songs.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I like listening to music from that era because it has a lot of consideration for everything. Not just the music, not just the production, not just the feel, but the lyrics. It's all like one big package. And I think back then people bought the vinyls or the CDs, and those things are in of itself are pieces of artwork. Whereas not to shit on the people today, but that is not always the dominance.
Yeah.
Like the pop music scene isn't always so nowadays when I listen to top 40s, right, if there's something just remotely redeemable for me, a good set of lyrics, a good groove, I'll be like, my faith is restored in radio. So like when
the problem
when
is marketing.
I mean, we live in a business ridden world, right?
Yeah.
We can't run away from that. So when I heard Billie Eilish on the radio, I was really, really happy. Like I was extremely happy because although another polarizing subject, there's a lot of consideration on all parts. And that's what I look for in music, you see. It doesn't matter what kind of genre you like. I don't think the genres were the problem. I think it's the way that you handle the music, the way that you push it out, Weird art like David Bowie or weirder, they have created masterpieces, although it's not always very listenable sometimes, but the respect for it.
But I think it's also about people's options because you're so, like I said earlier in our conversations, I think before we went on air, everybody has a single track mind. It's like, okay, this is how it is, this is how it's going to be. You're so used to that. But for me, being in my industry, I talk to people a lot. I talk to musicians, I talk to listeners, I do my own surveys. And I've noticed one thing, that it's not everybody who's into that so-called trend or whatever you want to call it, the culture. They have the individual choices. It's just that when it comes in a big group, oh yes, I'd like to listen to this. But then again, when you find out their individual taste, it's completely different. So it's just that how it's being popularized on radio and TV doesn't really matter anymore. It's like you see some of the tracks, if you look at the charts, songs that you thought that wouldn't even make it on the radio are the ones that are one of the best sellers. And, it happens from time to time. Like, say, for example, you take Chance. Was it Chance? I can't remember. One of the rappers. He wrote some good stuff many years ago, but it wasn't popular. It didn't really hit the market and so on. He appeared on one of the programs called Versus, and poof, the song became number one. So it's just that the right time, right place, and sending it out to the right people. That's all that matters. Once you get it out there, and the rest is history, man. That's how I like to look at it. Labels and how they, at their A&P, they have their own methods of doing it, but it doesn't matter. If a person likes your music, everybody will just tune into it, man. That's how I like to look. This is how I've seen it for the past 25 years, being in the business.
Definitely, I believe that plays a massive part. So
yeah,
it's just for me as a creator or someone who both consumes and tries to create. The way I see it is just I gotta pay my homage, and I gotta respect what I do. I don't always see it around, even if it's the big pop stuff or what. And I'd like to see more appreciation for the craft. That's for me. That's the number one thing. Even if you sound like a rat, and even if you can't hold a pitch or a groove for that matter. But I've as a teacher, I've seen kids. They're not developed like the way some of us are. Like, they're not there yet. They're still young. But can you imagine someone playing out of time, but with so much heart and soul, and they're not even holding anything steady? Now that's music to me. It's an expression, and it deserves respect.
I believe in that very much. I'm a deep believer in that concept itself. That's how, like I said, in my career, that's what I've been doing for many, many years. It's like I always believe this. It doesn't matter if the person is bad when it's brand new. There's always room for improvement, as long as there's encouragement and whatever he or she does. And because I've had bands, trust me, when the first day came out, during my radio days, I used to have a chat with them, and everybody's like, dude, you're crazy or what? This guy sucked, man. And then if you fast forward a few years later, they're making it on the award shows, and they're doing it pretty well. So that's how it is. It's just a matter of time. It's just being the right place, right time, and with the right encouragement, everything goes well, man. But we spoke about your lyrics and other feel of the near future. But I'm just curious about your music, writing your songs, and musically, are you doing it alone, or do you have friends who's just chipping in and helping out with the songs and musically?
Most of the time, I write it alone. It starts alone. At the very least, it starts alone. But by the time it gets into recording, it will definitely be a more collaborative effort. Like, the struggle is always going to be with the drummer.
Okay.
Yeah, because you need to find a drummer. So if you're lucky, you can find one, and he'll do a good job. If not, maybe you have to think about it again. So the story is for Helios. I actually did the drums myself at first. Like, the entire thing was 100% me. I went to my friend's house where he has it's the same guy, like, the one when I started when I was 14. He had a drum kit. I was like, okay, just hook up the thing. Let me lay down a groove. I'm gonna do my best. I'm not a drummer, but I just want to do this on my own because I've got the creative thing. I mean, it's not hard. The groove isn't hard, but it was at a point where I don't want to go find people, and I don't want to get into any disagreements. So it's better to just do it yourself. So I sat on the drum kit. I knocked out some groove. He recorded it. I played the bass. I did the singing. I played the guitar. I planned the others, 1 or 2 extra tracks. And by the time we hit the studio, I asked a friend who plays drums, I'm like, just do exactly this, and he did exactly that. Because when you hit the studio, I don't want to be the one fiddling around. Like, you want to get it nice, you want to get it done. Just get someone who's more experienced and try to tell him what to do. If he listens, good. If he doesn't, hopefully things go well. We see at the end of the show, that kind of thing.
Nice.
So for Helios, is definitely, I would say it's a 90%. I was the producer and the writer and everything. For Heel, I had the idea, I communicated it to the drummer, and he did a very good job. So that was that. I did the bass for Heel, I believe. Yeah, I did the bass. Wasn't my best job, but save cost lah.
You're beginning to sound like Prince, man. You play the guitar, you play the bass, you play the drums.
I'm not great at it, but I'd like to think he is one of my heroes at the end of the day. Like, both musically and visually. My God, that guy had style.
Yeah, that guy's a genius, man.
Yeah, so when my friend told me about that, about the fact that he played a lot of instruments, especially I don't know, there was a rumor, I cannot verify this. Apparently at one point he got so fed up with his band, he fired everyone and he did everything himself. And I said,
I wouldn't be surprised if he did that. He's a perfectionist.
Yeah, so I said to myself, like, I really relate to what he did because I feel like doing that right now. Like, all you need to do is let me sleep in the studio where there's all the instruments. You give me 1 month, I will come up with some record, man.
Nice.
Because there are times that I just want to do that. It's like, I don't want to do any work. I just want to
just make music,
I
man.
want to die in the studio and die making my record, right? That's at the end of the day, I am that extreme. I just want to die in the studio or die on a stage, but I need that record, man.
That is a dream, man. That is a dream. Hey, never know. Anything is possible. Not the dying part, but doing all the music thingy.
Yeah. So I mean, but of course, take it slow lah for now. There are ways to do it without being Prince about it.
Well, I think with technology these days, I think that shouldn't be a problem. Right? It's just a matter of time, just figuring it out and doing it yourself, setting up your own studios and little things like that. Because I know a couple of guys who did that. It's just like first they were exactly like you. It's like they said, no, I want to be in the studio, I want to do this and that. But later on, they started learning the trade and the improvising on things, and before you know it, the whole home turned into a studio, man. So anything's possible, man.
Yeah, I know. But well, I'm not there yet. I hope to be there. So
yeah, it's just a matter of time.
That one, like I said, for Heel, I did the bass. Not my cleanest job. I don't even have a bass guitar. I don't. And then for 30 days, that was actually a full collaboration. That demo, we just chucked it on the studio, so that's why it was a demo. That was with an older bandmate. The band doesn't exist anymore, so that was the only kind of thing that existed from that period of time. And the latest one, which is The River.
Yes, I'm about to talk about that.
Yeah, will be a full-on. I think I only did the guitar and the bass. Everything else I left for the percussionist to do lah.
Okay, let's talk
so
about river a little bit here. That's
sure.
one thing I wanted to wrap the show with, which was the river. We heard the track on AEW sessions. You performed that track, right?
Yes.
Did you? Yeah, you did.
I have.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about river. What is river all about? Who is behind the track? Details on that, because I know you're going to release it next year, but we're going to play it on this particular show in a bit from now. So let's talk about river first.
Yeah, the river is. Remember how I said as a lyricist, I wanted to sound a bit more witty, or go that direction. So this was one of the first ever experiments with trying to sound smart.
Okay.
Yeah. So the river is my best attempt at trying to sound smart. It's got a more reggae base to it, a more reggae type. The foundations of the reggae genre, of course. But knowing me, I don't like to stick to a singular genre. I like to keep things mixed up. So with the river, it's the reggae thing going on, some blues, and then you have witty lyrics that, like I said, I don't know what it means until today. Like some of my friends heard it. They like it so much they claim to have found the meaning of the song.
Okay.
Citing, it's the light at the end of the tunnel thing, and I'm like, hey man, whatever gets you going, because the truth is I haven't figured it out. to me, it's all about playing opposites, right? Like I open up with the phrase, "Take me down to the river, so I could be baptized." I know I'm only a sinner, but I can still be purified. And in the next verse, I say, "Take me up to the jungle trees, and dress me up with leaves." It's more of a visual thing, lah.
Okay. Any plans for the music video for this one?
Yeah, I do. We are definitely going to chuck it out by next year, sometime next year. So
Nice.
I'm planning to release the music video. The lyric video first, sometime next year. Very likely at the end of January.
Oh, that's good. That's not very far away.
Yeah, it's not very, I haven't locked down the dates, I don't want to make contract promises.
Okay.
But the river's coming out next year, and I'm gonna try to put it in as many places as I can. Just get more attention with it,
Nice.
Because
Do let me know where.
my output is very slow.
Yeah, I can. You just let me know. I'll try to spread the word around for you. And, the reason why I wanted to play the song at the very end of this particular show, once you start releasing it officially, YouTube or Spotify, they just mute the entire podcast just because one particular song was in between. So I just want to save it till the end of it. And River is the track that you're going to listen to in a bit from now. And first and foremost, I got to thank you, Jay, for coming on board. This has been a very different podcast throughout the year, man. I haven't had a conversation like this. This was pretty deep and emotional. Usually it's all about banters and laughters. But this time I kind of like this conversation. I kind of enjoyed this very much. I kind of get to see a different side of a musician for a change, man.
Yeah,
it is nice. I enjoyed it very much, dude.
Well, is it really that true that you haven't spoke like this in a while?
Yeah, it depends. I do have certain shows I do, but I kind of lose track of time. So have I? I don't know. I did one or two, but on a different angle altogether.
Welcome to my world, man.
Yes, it's nice. It's nice. Different people, different characters, different colors. That's how I like to look at it. Everybody has their own story to tell and their journey, a different path to take. So today we'll discover more about Jay Ivanez, which is kind of interesting because this way I kind of have the urge to listen to more of your music based on the conversation I had with you. So I just want to know more about your songs in the future, man.
Yeah, I guess stay tuned. Just wish me the best.
Yes,
so I could keep,
of course, definitely.
I could keep making music. Like the problem with the independent thing is that because it's independent,
yes,
you kind of have to do it yourself, and it's not so fun.
That's the best part. Actually, I kind of like that thing because it's not fun, but then again, it is a good teacher. That's how I like to put it. You learn things better.
Yeah.
Yeah. True. So Jay, once again, thank you so much for coming on board. Be sure to follow Jay on social media, of course, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube. I'm going to post all the links available on the webpage. You can check it out for yourselves. And is there anything else before I bring in the song? And is there anything else to share with your listeners?
No. Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, man. And in advance, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you.
Merry Christmas to you too.
Thank you very much. And of course, to wrap up the show, for this particular episode, here's the track from Ivanez and a brand new one coming up next year for 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, The River.
Sing to me a song of hope and kiss me on my head. So now you see that this is not a game. Oh God, help me and take